Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn a new lesson 3, production analysis, in which we are going to discuss various factors of production and its characteristics. Let's start our portions. Introduction. Now, the production is a process of using various material and immaterial input in order to make output for consumption. So, goods and services are produced for consumption purpose, for whom? To the consumer. So, production process creates economic well-being. The satisfaction of a need originates from the output. So production process is classified under 4 categories. It's called as 4 factors of production, namely land, labor, capital and organization. So in economics, production refers to the creation or additions of values. It simply transforms the input into output. So production may vary at various level. The scale of production influences the cost of production. As the manufacturers are aware that when production of commodity takes place on large scale, the average cost of production is low. This is the reason why the entrepreneurs are interested in enlarging the scales of productions of their commodity. So, for example, a clothing company may distribute clothing as their product, but the clothing itself is manufactured by an entire different organization overseas. Sometimes the intangible process of brainstorming ideas of the product formation is also considered to be a part of the production process. An example of this is Apple. They design all of their electronics in California but have them processed overseas. So a production is nothing but it is a phenomena of creating an input to output. So a transformation of input to output is called to be production. Now production means it's a producing, which means the manufacturing or creating a product or goods from raw material. So that transformation is called to be production. Alright. There are 4 factors of production. The 4 factors of production are land, labor, capital and entrepreneurship. They are the inputs needed for supply. They produce all the goods and services in an economy that's measured by GDP. Now there are 4 factors of production, namely land as a factors of production, labor as a factors of production, capital as a factors of production and entrepreneurship as a factors of production. Now factors of production means resources used in the process of production of commodities. Now, here land represents natural resources such as soil, mineral, deposits, etc. Labor represents human resources. So together, these 2 factors are called to be primary factors of production. These 2 factors produce some units of goods for the purpose of consumption. And as a consumption of these goods takes place, there is a possibility of these goods getting left over. Thus, saving is a production minus consumption. This save amount is called as capital, which serves as an investment in the production process. Also, organization or enterprises is a special form of labor. The third and fourth factors are called as secondary factors of production. These four factors depends on each other. They have coordinated impact on the production of goods and services. So students, two important points you have to keep it in your mind. One is primary factors of production, which consist of both land and labor, and secondary factors of productions are combinations of capital and organizations. So they form the third and fourth factors of production, which is consisted as secondary factors of production. Okay. In land is the first factor of production. In ordinary sense, land refers to the soil or the surface of the earth or ground. But in economics, land means all gifts of nature owned and controlled by human being, which yields as income. Land is the original source of all material wealth. So the economic prosperity of a country depends on the richness of her natural resources. Land involves natural resources like labor is associated with human. So here, according to Eraser, factors of production are as a group of classes of original productive resources. The production process is, in literary sense, land is regarded as soil. However, in economics, land as a factors of production has a much wider scope. Marshall has defined land as the material and the force which nature gives freely for man aid in land and water, in air and light and heat. Land refers to the natural resources that can be utilized to produce income. It is a useful factor of production, but it is available in a limited quantity. The quality and the quantity of agricultural wealth are determined by the nature of the soil, according to the climate and rainfall. The agricultural products are the basis of trade and industry. Industries survive on the availability of coal mines or waterfalls for electricity production. Hence, all aspects of economic life like agriculture, trade and industries are generally influenced by natural resources, and these are called as land in economics. So, one uses land to produce good. It is a primary and natural factors of production. All gifts of nature such as river, ocean, land, climate, mountains, mines, forest, etc. are land. The payment for land is rent. Let's discuss the characteristics of land. Land is a primary factors of production. Why do we say it is a primary factors of production? Because land plays a vital role in the production process. So land represents natural resources such as soil, mineral deposits, river, natural forests, fisheries, etc. are incurred under the land. So it is a basic source of production. So we call it as primary factors of production. Second one is land is a passive factors of production. So because it requires the help of other factors, especially labor, to be put in use. Okay, and third one is it is a free gift of nature. Yes, it is a free gift of nature. Every factors of production which comes under the umbrella of land should have no supply price. To put it differently, land can be used for production without paying any money to the ultimate owner, the Mother Earth. Further, it requires no human effort. Next one is land has no cost of production, and land is fixed in supply, it is inelastic in supply. So land is strictly fixed factor of production, right? So obviously the quantity of land is existence will always remain the same, and no human power can alter that. This means that no amount of change in demand can change the supply of land. So it is fixed in supply. And next one is land is permanent. So here we can say that it is permanent and indestructible power of the soil. Why it is permanent? Most of the features related to land are out of the realms of human power. We can only degrade or upgrade the land, the characteristics of land up to the extent, the quantity of the land, and specifically the land itself is indestructible, right? And the next one is land is immovable. Of course, land is a static factor. One cannot shift the natural resources for their place of origin. Now, some would argue that a factor categorized as land, say water, can be taken to another place. However, you should appreciate the fact that the whole reservoir for water cannot be shifted to another place at all. Further, the combination of natural factor or characteristics of a given place is generally unique. And the next one is land is heterogeneous, and as it differs in fertility. Obviously, no two types of land can be the same. There are land which defines a type of land, and two existence of land are bound to different characteristics. For example, two patches of land can differ in fertility, its dimension, its composition, and lot of other different features and characteristics. Okay, so it is heterogeneous, it is different in its nature. Land has alternative uses. Yes, we can use land in variety of ways for various purposes. Hence, land has multiple uses. So, however, it's suitably for all uses is different, not the same. But for example, we can use a piece of infertile land to set up a factory, but not for cultivation and agriculture. So it can be alternative uses. And land is subject to law of diminishing returns. Yes, what is diminishing returns? The more and more. Thank you.